Use the pause button on your player if you need longer to read the following screens, and the play button to continue. In this movie tutorial, we'll look at how to write responses for graphs and tables in the IELTS Academic Task 1 Writing. The first part looks at the important points to look for in the task. The second part shows a model task response, and the third part provides response comments. Before you start, we also have a sheet with the task image and the model response. To download the sheet, click the link below the movie. In this task, you're asked to summarise a chart and a table about world tourism by reporting the main features and making comparisons. This is the task, chart and table you're required to write at least 150 words about in not more than 20 minutes. It is sensible to begin with the pie chart, which gives tourist numbers in millions and as a percentage. You should observe the relationships between the numbers and not merely quote how many tourists each country had. Therefore, the relationship between Asia and Europe needs to be specified. For example, tourists to Europe were more than double the number of tourists to Asia. Also, a key point that in 2012, Africa and the Middle East had almost the same number of tourists. These figures can then be related to the period 2009 to 2013. Asia Pacific and Africa should be noted as the regions having the strongest growth during that period, and the Middle East having the weakest growth. Since 2014-2018 are projections, you need to use language expressions that indicate that the growth is only predicted, not historical. You should mention the region with the predicted weakest growth in relation to the previous period, namely Europe, and the region with the strongest projected growth, Asia. Another key point to note that the Middle East projected growth is expected to nearly double. Given the large amount of data, you would be expected to produce 4 paragraphs of text.
Before we move on, have you heard about our popular IELTS ebooks? They're available from all major ebook retailers. Go to myenglishexam.com and click on the ebook link to find out more.
Now listen to and read each of the paragraphs in the model response.
The data shows the number of tourists who visited 5 different world regions in 2012. Details the percentage increase from 2009 to 2013 and gives figures for projected tourism growth until 2018. Europe had more than half the world's tourism in 2012, far exceeding any other region. 535 million tourists are recorded as having visited Europe, compared to the second most popular region, Asia and Pacific, at 233 million visitors, which represents 23% of world tourism. In contrast, the Americas received only 16% of the total number of tourists, while Africa and the Middle East received approximately 5% each. Looking at the growth for the 4-year period from 2009 to 2013, the number of tourists in the Asia and Pacific region increased by 26%, which was the strongest rise of all the 5 regions. This growth is expected to continue at just below that rate, at 23%, for the next 4-year block until 2018. Similarly, the Americas and Africa recorded solid percentage increases in 2009 to 2013, and this is projected to continue for 2014 and 2018. The Middle East growth was in single figures at 4% in 2009 to 2013, and the rate is forecast to roughly double from 2014 to 2018. Europe, in comparison, had reasonable growth from 2009 to 2013, but this growth is predicted to fall in 2014 to 2018 to 9%, which makes it the only region likely to grow considerably slower in 2014 to 2018 than 2009 to 2013. Overall, trends for different regions show considerable variation, both in terms of tourist numbers and growth patterns.
Note the range of language that is used to describe the projections for 2014-2018. Is expected to, is projected to, is forecast to, is predicted to, projected growth. It would be a terrible error to use past time to talk about 2014-2018. The use of an overview is important in all Task 1 writings, which, in this response, is placed in the final paragraph. The mechanical reporting of data is avoided by introducing words that indicate relationships. For example, half, double. Data is sometimes reported as percentages or an actual figure is given. Note the complex sentences which contain relative clauses and linking words like while and but. You can get more help with your IELTS and our ebooks from myenglishexam.com.